Okay, The Conjuring 2. It's like the first one. This is now set in England. And you find out right away because they do all of the England cliche things. Lots of English music. And this film is actually, it's a really good film. It's a solid sequel. But it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yes, the most things say 2 hour 14, but at 2:10 the film proper stops, and then you have the credits. I didn't check if there's a post credit scene. I have heard they're going to do probably a spin off from it, which I'll be fine with. So this film's actually good. It does a good job when it comes to building up the characters. Like the first 45 minutes is pretty much spent building up the family that are going to go visit, with the last hour and 20, hour and a half being them actually being in England, doing all of that, and dealing with more of the more in-depth sort of issues. So there's a lot of, could this be a hoax? They're being filmed by people. The church is getting involved. A look at faith. They do a nice job really digging into what's going on. The problem is that this sort of film doesn't lend itself to a beyond 2 hour format. It's good, but it's not 2 hours and 10 minutes good. There are scenes that you're like, it was there to add tension, but there's so many other great scenes to add tension in this film. You know, the revelation of the demon, when they first start doing some of the videotaping, they do the voice is crazy. They do I think it's like the Crooked Man. That bit is amazing. That character looked like someone that would give a grown man nightmares. It's a crooked man with a crooked walk and a crooked cane. And it's, that was perfect. Loved that. For me, that's the highlight of the film, was when they had the crooked man walking. The look, the design, the lighting, the atmosphere, for that's perfect. Working back in the nun character, which was a bit from the first one, which of course the spin-off will actually focus on the nun character, was okay. I do think this film could use a little bit of tightening. At 130 minutes, that's a lot of time. If this would have been 2 hours, would have had a much more solid feel to it. You can tell they're really building up the beginning, and it's a good build-up, but it's almost just too much. Horror films should not be over 2 hours in length. Sorry. It's hard to do this sort of genre justice in that length of format. Predominantly because when you're building tension, building anxiety, you hit a point where your anxiety is plateaued. And anything else just either becomes an annoyance or you just quit watching. You want to build the tension at a level where it's that uncomfortableness, then you hit that crescendo, then you drop it back down, then you pull it back up again. This sort of film kind of does a where it's like you need I need to crash and build back up, crash, build back up, hit the climax, and then the resolution. Whereas that's more like It's like it just feels it's a good movie. I will say, watch it. Just one thing to keep in mind is that it is a significantly long horror film. If you watch a short version, watch about the first 10 minutes, so you'll figure out what the couple's been up to. You get a basic idea of what's going on with the London family, and then skip to about 45 minutes in, and you've only missed some additional. Here's the haunting aspect going on. Here's the possession aspect going on, but that's still dealt with in the last hour and a half of the film. So you can skip about a good half an hour in the beginning. It doesn't impact the film on a macro scale. On a macro scale, there's little tidbits here and there that make it more pleasurable, but there's a shortened version of it that is still really good. And adding that length in the center, it doesn't make it better, because it's still good. It's almost a detraction.